Welcome to CAWcreations. It's a podcast about knitting and books I've read. It's July 26th, 2019, and I think this is episode 28. If you've been following my Instagram or Facebook, you know there's been a lot going on in my life. I'll talk about that at the end, and I'll get into my knitting and stuff first. First thing I want to show you is my Game of Thrones mug that I got for, well, it was supposed to be a Mother's Day present, but it didn't come. There was an issue with shipping and it didn't come till later. And today I just have water in my mug. It's been warm here, so usually in the summertime I drink water or I drink iced tea, but I didn't make any iced tea today, so water it is. Well, let's get right into it. I don't have my two finished objects to show you, but I'll put pictures in. The first thing I finished was a cardigan. It's a new design that I'm working on. It's based on a similar pattern to the Covered in Kisses blanket. I'm making it with a DK weight yarn instead of with the Aran weight that the blanket's made in. And I just did this one in Patents Canadiana because the little guy I was making it for, he wanted bright yellow, and there was a really bright tweed yellow in that yarn. And then I highlighted it with rainbow colors, which I thought was appropriate for Pride Week, so I figured I'd get it all finished up for him. I put the rainbow colors on the cuffs because you definitely don't want yellow cuffs for a toddler's cardigan. The nice thing about making it for a specific person is what I did. He's a tall, skinny guy, so I made the size 3 for the width and the size 4 for the length. So although the arms look short on the picture of the sweater, when it's on him, they're perfect. They go right to here, and it gives him the length in the body that he needs because he has a long torso. So anyway, I'm really pleased with how that turned out. And then I finished it off with wooden buttons. I got the wooden buttons at the Charlottetown Farmers Market from the lady there that does all the knitting, and they're beautiful. I'll put a picture of them in here as well. And I think I have the tag somewhere, so I'll try and find the picture of that to put it in. The other finished project I did a pair of fingerless mitts that just basically cover your hand. And I did those for another friend of mine, the daughter of a person I work with. She has a sun allergy like I do, and she goes to work in the sun with long sleeves, but she ends up getting swelling on her hands. So I knit these mitts. I tried to make them as small as I could just to cover the backs of her hands, and I made them out of opal wool so that they would breathe, and they're a purple and a black with sparkles, so they're beautiful. I just love how they turned out, and I'm hoping that I'll get that pattern out very shortly. I've had a lot of issues with just a lot of stuff going on in my life, and then as well I've had a cataract that's been a problem for some of my more detailed work, so you'll notice some of the things I'm doing are simpler right now. So what am I working on now? That's all the finished objects I have. And right now what I'm working on is a 10-stitch blanket for my son Daniel. Again, simple, it's straight knitting. It's similar to the one that I've finished already. This is the second one I've done with this yarn that my Aunt Evelyn gave me. It was from a guy from her work gave it to her, and it was from his mom's stash, and his mom had died and he wanted to make sure the stash got used. It's kind of a different yarn. It's got like a chevron or something, I don't know what it's called, but it's got like a string on it, and then kind of fur comes out of it. But it's an acrylic, and I think it'll work well. Daniel is my middle guy. He's 22, And so this is an Afghan for him. He keeps threatening to move out, but he hasn't yet. So I'm really pleased with how it's turning out. I think it will block flatter than it is. I have trouble with the middles going kind of funny on these, but basically what I'm knitting is I'm knitting 3 sides and then changing color and knitting 3 sides. And I like that better than when I was in the center and changing on the edges, like on a flat edge. Now I'm changing when you change colors in the corners, and I like that better, so that's what I'm doing. As you can see, I don't have ends woven in. I have some of them woven in, but not all of them. So that's one project I've been working on. Another one I have been, oh, look at that. I don't know what I'm doing there. Another project I've been working on is Vicky's graduation blanket. I think I had a marker in here. I haven't knit on this in a while. Oh, I have knots. Yep, I have knots. We will just leave that. But of course I got the back to you. So when she graduated from high school, she wanted an Afghan like the one we had on the couch. So this is what I'm doing. And basically what I told her was I bought the yarn, and then I'll have it knit by the time she graduates university. So she's going into 3rd year, so I really have to get working on this. I'm about half done, 3/4 done, so I'll be done in a little while. My husband's laughing at me because the last Afghan took me 10 years to do. So anyway, my other work in progress is, oh, there's the buttons I wanted to show you. So those are the buttons from the finished Afghan. And here are socks I've been doing with the Cable Me This mitts that I've finished. Then with the rest of the yarn, I'm just doing a kind of an ankle sock with the same pattern. Again, this is something I'm working on to publish, but it's not quite there yet. And it's in the same opal yarn. So those are my works in progress. Books I've read. I've been working through this book, the Saltwater Mittens book. A friend of mine, her mom brought it to me. And it's a really great book about knitting patterns from Newfoundland. So it's neat, and it's color work, which I've been wanting to do more of. I have so many color work patterns, but I love the book, and there's stories about the mittens and things on it. So it's a really, really good read. So I've been reading that and then going through the patterns again and again. One thing I meant to mention when I was talking about the socks is I got a set of these driftwood needles that everybody was talking about, and I thought they'd be great. But what's been happening is, you see where they have this paper thing in the middle? I had one set of needles where the needle fell out of the middle, so I can't knit with it. And another needle just broke right off as I was knitting with it. So I'm gonna have to return those, and I'm really kind of disappointed with the needle set. The other book that I just finished was Tom Hanks' Uncommon Type. It's a book of short stories, and I really enjoyed it. I've been doing a lot of audiobooks because I've had an issue with cataract, and so I can't see as well right now. So it was really good in that he read the audiobook, and I really, really liked the stories. They were great short stories. I love a really good short story, so it's always good to have something that's really, really nice to read, and it's kind of upbeat. I've been avoiding the darker short stories lately, which moves into the other reason I haven't been podcasting for a while. In May, my oldest son died, and so I've been going through that grieving process. It's been really hard. I'm finally back to knitting. But I'm just finding it really hard to get excited about projects that I was excited about before. And I don't know that it's the form to talk a lot about my grief and the grief process, but I just wanted to let you guys know that that's why it's been a couple of months since I've recorded, and I've decided going forward I'm only going to record monthly, and it will be kind of on a month-to-month basis, seeing how I'm feeling. So I have to take it day by day, but I'm keeping knitting, and I'm spending a lot of times with friends and family. One of my cousins made me a beautiful healing shawl, prayer shawl. I'll put a picture of it in here. It's been a great comfort to me. We've planted a number of trees, and we've done a number of memorials for my son, and we'll work through recovery on that. Anyway, I know this is a short podcast, but I just wanted to do one so that I have one done and I can move on and talk about knitting and books and projects like that again. Anyway, till I chat with you again, happy knitting, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.